As Marcus Aurelius once said, "Another person cannot hurt you without your cooperation. You are hurt the moment you believe yourself to be." In Stoicism, it's held that when someone makes a rude comment, the event itself is objective, neither inherently good nor bad. It doesn't come with emotional labels attached. It's your opinion of the event, the meaning you assign to it, that either disturbs you or brings you peace. That's why Marcus Aurelius also said in his Meditations that you always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul with things you can't control. These things are not asking to be judged by you. Leave them alone. When will you stop choosing to be sad or unhappy? The Stoics realize that our emotional reality is shaped by our choice, influenced by how we view the world around us. You can choose to receive your personal setback as an unfair blow, adopting a sad and powerless emotional state, or you can view this setback as material uniquely tailored for you to use as a catalyst for growth and learning, thereby adopting a more empowering emotional state. This shows that the same event can lead to two entirely different experiences, all depending on the individual's mental strength. Thus, this Stoic rule from Marcus Aurelius stands out. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength through this journey. We'll explore profound insights from the Stoic philosophers who believed that true emotional mastery was not about suppression, but about transformation and understanding. Lesson 1. The art of Stoic emotional resilience. Why do we struggle with emotions that often seem to control us more than we control them? The Stoics provided a compelling answer. It's not the emotions themselves that unsettle us, but our judgments about them. Marcus Aurelius once remarked, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This foundational idea leads us into the practice of Stoic emotional resilience. The Stoics saw emotions as the product of our judgments, which means we have the potential to recalibrate our responses to the world around us. By altering our perceptions, we can dramatically change our emotional landscape. The first step is recognizing that our initial reaction to an event is not the final word on our emotional response. How often do you find yourself reacting instantly to situations without pause? Reflect on this. The Stoic practice involves a moment of pause, a breath between the event and your reaction, allowing you to respond with your rational mind rather than being led by initial impulses. Imagine navigating life's challenges with a serene and untroubled heart. This isn't an unreachable ideal, but a practical reality accessible through the disciplined practice of Stoic thought. It requires consistent effort to examine and manage the beliefs that underlie your emotional reactions. Have you considered what lies beneath your emotional responses? It's often a deeply ingrained belief or judgment that we can unearth and scrutinize. The Stoics teach us that by understanding the causes of our emotions, we can begin to moderate their effects on us. How do you currently deal with negative emotions? The Stoic method involves a proactive engagement with our feelings through a technique called cognitive distancing, viewing our emotions as if from an outsider's perspective, which helps in reducing their intensity. Can you recall a time when a change in perspective transformed a challenging situation for you? This is the essence of Stoic emotional resilience, transforming challenges into opportunities for growth. Every emotional experience becomes a lesson in self-awareness and self-improvement. What practices can you adopt today to start mastering your emotions? Begin with the simple yet powerful practice of journaling each day. Write down instances where your emotions felt overwhelming and explore alternative ways to perceive the situation. This helps in developing a more rational and controlled response over time. The Stoics didn't just philosophize about emotional resilience, they lived it. By integrating these practices into our daily lives, we too can start to experience the profound stability and contentment that comes from Stoic emotional mastery. Lesson 2. Cultivating the Stoic mindset to manage anger. Why is anger often considered the most disruptive emotion we experience? The Stoics regarded anger as a primary obstacle to wisdom. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, described anger as a temporary madness that sets the soul on fire and leads to regrettable actions. To cultivate a Stoic mindset towards anger, one must first understand its roots and triggers. Anger typically arises when we perceive an injustice or when our expectations are not met. The Stoics teach us to question the validity of our expectations and the justice we demand from the world. By realigning our expectations with the reality of human nature and the unpredictability of life, we reduce the frequency and intensity of anger. How can we apply Stoic principles to everyday irritations and grievances? One effective method is the premeditation of evils, a Stoic exercise where one visualizes potential annoyances or misfortunes before they occur. This mental rehearsal prepares us to handle them with composure and rationality when they do happen, thereby diminishing the impact of anger. In moments of anger, the Stoics recommend a technique called the view from above. This involves imagining oneself from an external perspective, seeing the bigger picture and recognizing the transient nature of the incident. This broader perspective helps in diluting the personal sting of the grievance and promotes a calmer response. What practical steps can we take to manage anger as it arises? Immediate actions include deep breathing, counting to 10, or removing oneself from the situation momentarily. These techniques provide a buffer, time to engage our rational mind, allowing us to choose our response carefully instead of succumbing to impulsive reactions. By integrating these Stoic practices into our daily routines, we cultivate a robust emotional defense against anger. This proactive approach not only enhances our personal relationships by reducing conflict, but also contributes to our overall well-being and happiness. Through consistent practice, the Stoic mindset toward anger can become a natural part of our character, empowering us to live with greater peace and resilience. Lesson 3. Embracing Stoic flexibility to overcome fear. Why do fears so often hold us back from living our fullest lives? The Stoics understood that fear stems from our perceptions about the unknown and our inability to control or predict outcomes. To manage fear effectively, we must adopt Stoic flexibility, which involves adjusting our attitudes and expectations to align with reality, recognizing that many of the things we fear are either not as bad as we imagine or entirely out of our control. Fear often arises from a perceived threat to our safety, comfort, or stability. The Stoic practice of differentiating between what we can control and what we cannot helps to mitigate irrational fears. By focusing our efforts on our own actions and attitudes, factors within our control, we can remain calm and reasoned in the face of uncertainty. How can we train ourselves to be more accepting of the unpredictable nature of life? A Stoic technique involves regularly contemplating the impermanence of situations and our own adaptability. This mental exercise reduces the intensity of fear by normalizing change and uncertainty as natural and manageable aspects of life. One practical approach to embracing Stoic flexibility is to challenge our fears by gradually exposing ourselves to them in a controlled and rational manner. This method, known as exposure therapy in modern psychology, aligns with Stoic principles by allowing us to gain confidence and reduce the power that fear holds over us. What role does reflection play in overcoming fear? Reflecting on past instances where we have successfully managed or overcome fears can reinforce our ability to handle future uncertainties. This builds psychological resilience that is grounded in personal experience and Stoic wisdom, empowering us to face new challenges with courage and composure. By incorporating these Stoic strategies into our daily lives, we can transform our relationship with fear. Instead of being a barrier to our actions, fear becomes a signal to engage more deeply with our Stoic practices, encouraging growth and fortitude. Through this transformation, we not only enhance our own lives, but also set an example for others on how to live boldly and serenely, regardless of external circumstances. Lesson 4. Mastering emotional responses with Stoic acceptance. Why do our reactions to events often escalate our emotional turmoil? Stoicism teaches that it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our responses to them. To master our emotional reactions, we must cultivate Stoic acceptance, which involves embracing whatever happens as part of a rational universe and understanding that we can choose our responses, thereby mitigating emotional distress. Stoic acceptance starts with the recognition that many of the things we react to are beyond our control. When we focus our energy on what we can influence, our thoughts, perceptions, and actions, we gain a sense of empowerment. This shift from external to internal focus is crucial for maintaining emotional stability and is a core principle of Stoic philosophy. How can we practice Stoic acceptance on a daily basis? One effective method is the practice of daily reflection, where we examine our reactions to the day's events each evening. This habit helps us identify patterns in our emotional responses and provides insight into how we might alter our reactions for better outcomes in the future. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus emphasize the importance of distinguishing between our sphere of control and what lies outside it. By mentally rehearsing this differentiation during calm moments, we can prepare ourselves to apply it more effectively when emotional challenges arise. This preparation makes it easier to respond with reason rather than impulse. What specific strategies can we employ when faced with emotionally charged situations? Techniques such as taking a moment to pause before reacting, deep breathing to reduce physiological arousal, and asking ourselves what a Stoic philosopher might do in the same situation can all help. These strategies create a buffer between stimulus and response, allowing for a more measured and considered approach to emotional events. Incorporating these practices into our lives leads to greater mastery over our emotional reactions. Over time, Stoic acceptance becomes not just a practice but a way of life. Lesson 5. Practicing Stoic patience. Why is patience essential in Stoic philosophy? Patience is a cornerstone of Stoic thought, enabling us to endure life's inevitable difficulties with grace. By fostering patience, we align more closely with Stoic ideals, promoting a life of virtue and tranquility. Lesson 6. Harnessing Stoic courage in the face of adversity. Why is courage more than just facing physical challenges? Stoic philosophy teaches that true courage involves confronting not only physical dangers but also internal battles against fear, doubt, and despair. This form of courage requires a deep understanding of what is worth fearing and what is not. Guided by reason and wisdom, it involves the readiness to endure discomfort and uncertainty for the sake of virtue and personal growth. Stoic courage is about maintaining moral integrity and purpose even when external circumstances are daunting. It's not the absence of fear but mastery over it, allowing us to act according to our principles regardless of potential consequences. How can we apply Stoic courage to our everyday problems? One practical way is to confront small fears daily, building resilience and preparing for larger challenges. Whether it's speaking up in a meeting or addressing a personal conflict, each act of courage strengthens our ability to handle significant adversities. Reflection on past experiences where we demonstrated bravery reinforces our capability to act courageously in the future, boosting confidence and providing a framework for overcoming obstacles. What role does community play in fostering courage? Stoics believe courage is not just a personal virtue but also a communal one. By supporting and drawing strength from others who share our values, we bolster our courage. This communal aspect helps us feel less alone in our struggles, making it easier to stand firm in our convictions. Lesson 7. The Stoic way to cultivate contentment. Why do we often struggle to find contentment in our lives? According to Stoic philosophy, discontent arises from misplaced desires and unrealistic expectations. Stoics advocate for a life of simplicity, where contentment is derived not from external acquisitions but from internal virtues. How can we practically embrace Stoic contentment day to day? One method is daily meditation, focusing on the impermanence of material possessions and the lasting value of ethical virtues. Limiting exposure to influences that fuel desire and comparison, such as social media, also helps maintain focus on our values and goals. Simplifying life by decluttering physical spaces, streamlining routines, and prioritizing meaningful activities fosters true contentment. Lesson 8. Embracing change with Stoic adaptability. Why is adaptability considered a crucial virtue in Stoic philosophy? Stoicism teaches that the only constant in life is change. Resisting this natural flow causes unnecessary suffering. Adaptability allows us to respond to life's ever-changing circumstances with composure and wisdom. How can we cultivate Stoic adaptability in our daily lives? Regularly remind yourself of the impermanence of circumstances, whether successes or challenges. Scenario planning, considering various outcomes and preparing responses, reduces anxiety about the unknown and equips us with flexible action plans. What role does detachment play in enhancing adaptability? Stoics advocate for detachment from specific outcomes. By not tying happiness or self-worth to any result, we remain balanced and ready to adapt. This approach reduces stress and enhances personal and professional effectiveness. Lesson 9. The Stoic practice of self-mastery. Why is self-mastery a pinnacle of Stoic philosophy? True power lies in self-control and mastering one's desires and impulses. Self-mastery aligns actions with rational thought and virtuous principles, achieving freedom from uncontrolled reactions and external influences. How can we cultivate self-mastery daily? Set daily intentions focusing on virtuous actions and self-discipline, such as practicing patience, generosity, or diligence. The Stoic practice of voluntary discomfort, forgoing pleasures or enduring hardships, builds resilience and reduces dependence on external conditions. What role does reflection play in achieving self-mastery? Regular reflection on daily experiences allows us to assess progress and reaffirm commitment to Stoic principles. Journaling, meditation, or discussions with like-minded individuals provide insights that guide further personal development.